What's up everybody, it's your boy Hokage here, welcome to the video. Today I'm gonna react to a very controversial article that was posted by Screen Rant in 2017 actually. And as you can see by the video's title, this article is titled 15 Reasons Boruto is Way Better Than Naruto. Not only better, but way better. Interesting fact is that this article was posted in July of 2017. Back then, Boruto had like 15 episodes and 14 chapters. Even if the chapter were posted like recently, a few days ago, it would still be a very heavy title, to pick. But still, you'd have a lot more material to work with. But like July 2017, 15 Reasons Boruto is Way Better Than Naruto. That's gonna be interesting. So let's go. 15 reasons Boruto is way better than Naruto. In comparison to Naruto's impressive 720 episodes, if combined with Naruto Shippuden, Boruto Naruto Next Generations is still in its infancy. That said, with a handful of memorable stories and some stellar animation out of the gate, the spin-off is certainly off to a fast start, leading fans to wonder if Boruto could actually be better than the original. We believe it is certainly possible, and we have compiled a list of ways in which it has already vastly surpassed its predecessor. Holy shit, that's a huge statement. Sure, it is still far too early to call, but Boruto has been making some smart narrative decisions since its first episode, as it looks like it has learned a lot from some of the missteps taken by the beloved Naruto. Okay, I somewhat agree with that statement. Again, we are not arguing that Boruto Naruto Next Generations is superior to Naruto or even Naruto Shippuden overall, but simply providing examples of aspects that this show has thus far improved upon and reasons why it may one day go on to surpass the original. See, that contradicts the title, but the title is supposed to be clickbait, which is something that I anticipated even before I started reading this. But anyway, let's go. Here are the 15 reasons Boruto is way better than Naruto. Number 15, Sasuke. Alright, this is interesting. Okay, I saw the 14th one. But anyway, now, this may be a bit controversial, but the foundation of Sasuke's character motivations were often shaky at best. He went from despising his brother to idolizing him, and while this is supported in the context of the anime, it never felt believable to a large portion of its audience, leading Sasuke to come off as a bit whiny despite his troubled upbringing. I disagree with this. I think Sasuke's character journey is one of the most epic character journeys in all of Naruto. I thought it was realistic, and I thought it was very complex, very unique. Who knows, one day I might even do a video about it. But anyway, Sasuke's character progression, the shifts in his ideology, yes, those shifts were huge. But if you really consider how many tragic things happen in Sasuke's life, it's kind of natural to assume that, these events would somehow fuck up his brain at times. Yeah, but anyway, let's continue reading. Naruto did an excellent job of making audiences emphasize with its antagonists, but Sasuke became more and more unlikable as the series progressed. Not to mention Naruto's friendship with Sasuke, at least in the anime, felt a bit shoehorned retrospectively. Naruto and Sasuke were rivals first and foremost, and weren't truly revealed to be friends until Sasuke became a villain. A lot of their Ninja Academy backstory was highlighted after the fact, making Naruto's obsession with retrieving him feel a bit disingenuous. Again, I disagree with this, but I don't want to make this video too long because I can already sense that it's going to be long. But how does this make Boruto's series better than Naruto? It's very confusing. I enjoy Sasuke's character in Boruto, but like the main journey, the main gist of Sasuke's character happened in Naruto, and nothing can surpass that. Yes, he may have cool fights in Boruto. He may die a heroic death or something like that. But still, uh, his character development happened in Naruto. So I like that kind of makes Naruto superior to Boruto in that sense. But anyway, let's just continue. Even Shino is interesting now. Is now interesting. Okay, this. Let me just read this. Fan consensus easily pegs Shino Aburame as one of the original series' least interesting characters. Okay, fair enough. However, the mysterious bug-obsessed ninja has since found new life in Boruto Naruto Next Generations. As a teacher struggling to reach his respective students, Shino is now somewhat relatable and a far more likable character than ever before. Try as hard as they might, but previously the writers could not quite crack the essence of Shino as a character. The shinobi did not receive a memorable backstory, and seeing as how most people are generally not a big fan of bugs, Shino was likely at a disadvantage going in. As an instructor, Shino does not even feel like the same character. I agree with that. I mean, like, it's not like he feels like an entirely different character, but like the overall change in Shino, I always could somehow see that he has this weirdo side. But I never knew that the weirdo side would fully overtake his character in Boruto. I mean, he did have a couple of deep dialogue moments, but then again, this article was posted at episode 15. I don't even know how much screen time. I mean, Shino was getting screen time back then, but like, did he really show so much in the first 15 episodes? I can't really remember, but anyway, yeah. As an instructor, Shino does not even feel like the same character. Sure, he still has a thing for bugs, but his personality is much more defined, and he has finally been allowed to become vulnerable for the first time in this long-running series, which is certainly refreshing to say the least. Shino's role is definitely refreshing in the Boruto series, but to list this as a reason, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, man. Let's see the next reason. Humor. Alright. Boruto has more slice of life elements in it than Naruto, which is something that some people don't like, but I personally like those slice of life elements, and I really enjoy the dialogue scenes in Boruto and the humor scenes. So I might actually have to agree with this one. Make no mistake, Naruto as well as Shippuden had its share of quality humor, but thus far Boruto's approach has been a bit more evenly dispersed, with each and every episode offering quality gags from various characters. Early entries into the original series illustrated that there was a time to be serious and a time for levity as well. As the narrative wore on, however, the story began to take itself far more seriously, and while a more serious tone was certainly called for, it seemed as though the humor was somewhat lost. Okay. Boruto Naruto Next Generations. Perfect fucking timing. Sorry about that. Anyway, Boruto Naruto Next Generations seems to have recaptured some of the early magic, but only time will tell if the new kid on the block will eventually head in the same tone direction as its predecessors. I think at one point Boruto is going to become even darker than Naruto, but for now the humor is on point, and I'm actually going to have to agree that Boruto's humor is better than Naruto's, even though I enjoy both. Yeah, but still, humor shouldn't be a huge factor when deciding like the overall quality of the series. But then again, since Boruto has more slice of life, it is important that the humor is on point. I hate comparing Naruto and Boruto because they're different type of series. Yes, they're both shonen, but there are key differences. And the thing with Boruto is that eventually the slice of life element is almost completely gonna disappear. Once we get the Otsutsuki related shit and the Kara related shit. Yeah, I hate comparing the two, but let's give this one to Boruto, right? Boruto already has the best movie. I haven't seen all the Naruto movies. I'm just gonna skip this point because again, it's too ridiculous. Budgetary constraints. Okay. This one seems like it's going to be interesting. Let me read it before judging. While the specifics of each respective series' various budgetary figures are not readily available, it would appear as though Boruto is working with a bit more capital than its predecessors, judging by the animation. This certainly makes sense considering the popularity to which the original series achieved over the years. Bigger budgets are certainly not an indicator of quality, but it does help in assuring that audiences are not forced to endure needless recap episodes or filler arcs with lackluster animation quality. No, a big budget does not guarantee a successful story, but the lack of substantial budget can work to tarnish the legacy of a great story with subpar animation or numerous other potential issues. All in all, the significant resources at Boruto's disposal have led to some top-notch animation in the early goings. Now, back then, Boruto had better art and better animation, in my opinion. Especially art. When if you're an old subscriber, you know this, but when I give ratings to the Boruto episodes, I don't take animation into account, and the art is just the way I review episodes, my own subjective way of reviewing. I also don't take the music into consideration when giving ratings, but I occasionally comment on these two things. But anyway, because of that, I can really give this one to the author of this article. Because as I said, I don't really care about animation that much. It's more so the story, the dialogue, the characters, the character interactions. But and I'm not an expert when it comes to animation, but I'm pretty sure that Boruto's animation and art aren't as good as they were before. I mean, those two things are kind of subjective in a way, especially art. But it's just my opinion, right? This is my video, my channel. But the Naruto anime, back then, back then you couldn't even produce the same quality animation as you can today. I mean, I guess you could, but it was a weekly anime. It wasn't a movie or anything like that. Boruto started airing in 2017. The technology it's much more advanced right now. But I'm just like, when you see that the title of this article, you don't expect shit like this. I don't even know what to say. So far, I'm only gonna acknowledge the humor point. All right, I'm only gonna acknowledge that one. Number 10, a blend of overarching narratives and satisfactory single episodes. This is not necessarily a criticism of Naruto or its respective follow-up, but single episodes of these series were generally part of a much larger picture, and are usually meant to stand on their own. Boruto, to this point in the story, has adopted a less serialized approach in which each story fits into the grander picture but still tells its own unique tale. There were only 15 episodes at the time. Based on what did you conclude this? That being said, these episodes do not feel like the monster of the week type narratives, in which the characters are going up against some irrelevant foe. Still, these storylines have generally been wrapping up in one or sometimes two episode intervals. Again, one approach is not necessarily better than another, but when watching a series week to week, it's nice to feel that your time was rewarded with a full story that also contributes to a grander narrative. I do agree that all the mini stories that we're seeing in the Boruto anime right now do contribute to a grander narrative. Sometimes it does feel like we're fighting some irrelevant foes because that's what happened multiple times, so can't really give this point to the author. But again, 15 episodes, what the fuck? Better pilot. This is certainly one of the more subjective entries on the list, because while Naruto features a pretty solid entry point into its own respective story, the pilot for Boruto Naruto Next Generations is arguably better. Masterfully introduces new characters, all while wasting no time getting into the action. Without the need for world building, Boruto is able to explore characters and action early on, and is thus able to refresh viewers on the details as it moves ahead. Additionally, Boruto gives fans plenty of reason to stick around within the first few minutes with some exciting teases. So many questions have been raised, and the series buys its time introducing audiences to interesting, lovable characters. The pilot for Next Generations had far less weight to carry in respect to its predecessor, but even still, Smiley got off to a fast start with new faces when it could have easily relied on nostalgia and fan service. Alright, that final statement is kind of true, but um, wanted to make a point. Yeah, it says without the need for world building. Again, this article was made too early. Boruto heavily emphasized world building that Naruto didn't. For instance, we had the Mist Village arc where we literally went into the Mist Village. The same thing happened um, in the Mitsuki retrieval arc with the other village. You know, when Onoki died, we had the Ryuji cave. Like Other parts of Konoha were explored, and Byakuya gang arc. So I mean, it's not correct, but the person who wrote this, he or she couldn't predict the future, right? Based on what did he or she say that without the need of world building, Boruto is able to explore characters and action early on? Yes, Boruto explores characters and stuff early on, obviously, but world building was introduced later on. Again, another point that it's just not valid in my opinion. And you know, the entire pilot argument, I don't necessarily think that, you know, it can. I don't necessarily think that it's better than Naruto's. I'm not saying that Naruto's was better, but again, for a title like that, I would expect some more complex points. I'd say filler. One of the biggest problems surrounding Naruto, as well as its subsequent series, Naruto Shippuden, was meaningless filler episodes scattered throughout the narrative. I can already see that I'm gonna give this one as well, to the author. Apart from the humor point, sometimes filler can serve as a nice break in between heavy story arcs, but oftentimes the series would depart from the main storyline just as things were starting to get interesting in order to showcase a handful of unrelated and frankly uninteresting episodes. While we are still early in the Boruto series, obviously, we have yet to see anything that even remotely resembles subpar filler. This can all certainly change as more episodes come out, but fans are hoping that writers learn from the mistakes of the original series and at the very least can cut down on the copious amounts of filler episodes, especially those that take place in the middle of key narrative arcs. Almost 100 episodes later, yes, Boruto does not have filler pretty much at all. There's a misconception that the Boruto anime is filler, but that's not correct. Kodachi works on the anime, that has been stated multiple times. But anyways, just logical, there aren't any flashback arcs in Boruto. Like, we got a few flashback episodes in the entirety of the anime, but the story constantly progresses in one way or another. And it has less filler than Naruto. I enjoy Naruto's filler because I'm a huge Naruto fan, and regardless of what I get, if it's Naruto related, I'm gonna enjoy it. But I'm gonna give this point to the author. Let's go to the 7th point. A mix of fan service and quality world building. Hold on a second. Didn't this person say that Boruto doesn't have the need to world build, but now it's a mix of fan service and quality world building? That's hypocritical. The entire article is very awkward. No offense to the author. Part of Boruto's immediate advantage is the fact that this incredible universe has been set up and built over the course of hundreds of episodes. Utilizing this vast universe, the spin-off incorporates fan-favorite characters, but not in a way that feels cheap or disingenuous. Okay. No correlation to the title, fan service and quality world building so far. Let's see the next 2 paragraphs. For example, Shino has already been introduced to audiences hundreds of episodes ago, but Boruto Naruto Next Generations takes things a step further by adding another dimension to his character. Yes, Shino is a familiar face, but this is not the same character we knew and loved, or merely tolerated from the original series. Excuse me, you already made an entire point about Shino. This is a redundant. Boruto has smartly incorporated some fun fan service with really intelligent character development and world building, which serves to please all fans, all while allowing a new audience to tune in for the first time and enjoy the ride. I agree with the final one. Like, usually when people refer to fan service, it's like huge tits and ass and anime girls, obviously. But I guess fan service doesn't only apply to that. I'm not the best when it comes to the anime terms online, anime terms, anime terminology in general that the people of the internet use. But I guess fan service applies to some funny moments in regards to the old generation that are really just fan service. But again, but at the same time, we have character development and world building. If that's the case, I 100% agree. But I'm just confused because the author of this article earlier on said that Boruto doesn't need to world build, but here we have intelligent world building. It's very strange. Again, I'm not even gonna comment on that point. Highlighting characters early on, Boruto arrives at the plate with an unfair advantage. The universe of Naruto has already been established. While the series does a good job at explaining the world of the shinobi to newcomers without getting bogged down in unnecessary details, it is also allowed to explore characters early on in a way its predecessor could not. Naruto featured countless lovable characters, but again with the aforementioned advantage. I'm not American. I'm not English. English is my second language. I don't know if I pronounced that properly, but anyway, Boruto is off to a much faster start in that regard. In the early arcs of the original series, the narrative could not stray too far from our point of view character and main protagonist. Boruto, on the other hand, is allowed to be a bit more adventurous. Numerous episodes have already explored some ancillary. Oh fuck, I can't even pronounce that word as well. Characters that could very well become fan favorites in the future. Additionally, the more we are attached to these characters and the earlier this happens, the better off the series will likely be in the long run. Listen, Boruto and Naruto introduce their characters in different ways. They develop their characters in different ways. The pacings are completely different, and I just don't want to compare it in that sense. So again, I'm gonna skip this point. So far, we only have like 2 good points, in my opinion. Obviously, the humor point and the filler point. But let's see the final 5. The final 5. What? This might feel like a bit of a cheap shot, but Boruto Naruto Next Generations is made available for streaming in HI or high definition, while Naruto is currently receiving the HI definition remastered treatment, but all the time debuting in HD should still be seen as a. I'm just gonna skip this entire point because it's just ridiculous. Boruto is still learning. One of the best aspects of Naruto was the character payoffs, which felt immensely gratifying after countless episodes of watching characters try and fail. Naruto struggled for so long and messed up repeatedly. When he finally succeeded or learned a new technique, it left audiences feeling incredibly satisfied, as if they had gone on this incredible journey with Naruto. Great paragraph there. As the show progressed forward, Naruto struggled far less and became far less compelling to watch. Naruto's feats, while incredible, did not hold quite as much weight because audiences had expected him to succeed and had become accustomed to the character doing so. It doesn't change the fact that he worked so hard throughout his life. Like, Boruto, on the other hand, still has plenty of growing to do and is far from an overpowered hero. Like the Naruto of old, Boruto often fails and constantly makes mistakes. And while his accomplishments have yet to feel quite as satisfying as his father's used to, that's a good point, it is much closer than anything audiences have seen from the series. And sometime, okay, that's again a fair point, but yeah, at one point Boruto is gonna become overpowered, and we're gonna expect him to succeed. So again, another bad point. A return to form, huh? The Fourth Shinobi World War highlights some of Naruto and Naruto Shippuden's biggest problems respectively. At this point in the series, the entire focus of the narrative had entirely shifted. Naruto, who wanted nothing more than to become the strongest Hokage and earn the respect of his fellow villagers, soon desired nothing more than the retrieval of his friend Sasuke back from the dark side. Absolutely incorrect. Yes, he wanted to retrieve Sasuke. He still wanted to become the Hokage. He wanted world peace. His character became so much more complex at that point of the series, and to say that he just wanted to bring back Sasuke is simply incorrect. Shippuden had begun to lose some of its charm with the absence of strategic battles and creative jutsu. Rather, the series featured more and more flashier fights with explosions and energy beams that offered little in the way of character or strategic maneuvers. Boruto Naruto Next Generations appears to be taking it back to basics, which is true. However, with thoughtful battles and altercations that focus more on character and less on spectacle. But still, as time goes by, Boruto will also follow that route most likely, especially now that we're gonna have more Tsutsuki clan members in the car organization and stuff like that. Um, I'm not gonna agree with this point that Naruto Shippuden lost its charm because the fights were done differently. I think the main thing when it comes to Naruto Shippuden in general, is the emotional impact, the characters, their bonds. That's why I became such a huge fan of Naruto, not because of its fights, but yeah, again, I'm not gonna count this one as a relevant point because, yeah, a competent female protagonist. I should have expected to see this. I think Sakura is a greatly misunderstood character. I think she's one of the most realistic characters. I think that the fact that she doesn't have the Sharingan, a tailed beast, a Keke Genkai, or anything like that, and that she still managed to do so much and become a super strong ninja. I think that shows how hard she worked. I think that shows her dedication. I think her loyalty to Sasuke was incredible. I like Sakura's character. I'm a fan of Sakura's character, and I do think that she was a good female protagonist. I think that Sarada is a better female protagonist, and I like Sarada more as a character. But this makes it look as if Sakura was completely useless or something like that, which is just factually incorrect. I'm not gonna count all the things that she did right now because the title of this video isn't Sakura's accomplishments, but if you just turn on your brain for a second, you will know that Sakura did quite a few things in the Naruto series. But yeah, Sakura Haruna is a hit or miss character for many fans of the long-running anime. It cannot be denied, however, that for a large portion of the series, she was pretty useless and correct. Factually incorrect. But anyway, mostly she served the role. Like I'm trying to. Before I continue reading, how can they state something like this and not develop their point? I mean, the point is incorrect anyway, so I don't even know how you would develop it. But yeah, mostly she served the role of damsel in distress as she annoyingly pines after Sasuke, far past the point of unhealthy obsession. Her and Sasuke's daughter Sarada Uchiha, however, is certainly a much more capable fighter and arguably a more likable female protagonist. Sakura might be the most glaring example, but Naruto truly did not provide fans with more than a couple of truly competent or even interesting female protagonists or antagonists. I liked Sakura. I also like Hinata. She's a deeper character than it seems at the first glance. Kushina is my favorite female character of Naruto. Tsunada's unique backstory and character journey make for a great female character. Temari was pretty badass. I'm sure there are more examples that I'm not listing right now, but Naruto had some cool females, but yeah. The addition of Sarada Uchiha already looks to be an improvement in this department, as she had already proven to be more than a match for her rival and childhood friend Boruto on several occasions. I'm gonna count this as a valid point. I disagree that Sakura was useless for the most part, but I think that Sarada is a better female character. So in a way, that's an advantage for the Boruto series. Yeah, filler, humor, and this one. So far, 3 points. Let me see if I missed something. No. So far, 3 points. And let's see the final point. Naruto's creator says so. Okay, oh my god. You know what? Like, they say that you should save the best for last, but this is so stupid. It hurts my brain. Kishimoto never said that Boruto is better than Naruto, and he never said that Naruto is better than Boruto. He did say that he hopes that Boruto will one day surpass Naruto or something like that, something in that context. But even if he said, Boruto is better than Naruto, that's his opinion. this is propaganda. More accurately, Naruto creator Masashi Kishimoto promised early on that the Boruto anime would be even better than its predecessor. This may sound like a bit of PR PR speak, but if we are to take the creator at his word, Boruto Naruto Next Generations is designed to be a true successor and not just a cash grab. I don't think that it's a cash grab. I think it can surpass Naruto, Naruto's greatness, I should say. But as previously mentioned, the Boruto feature-length film was easily one of the best in the bunch, and the anime series is already off to a really strong start as well, so perhaps the creator was right after all. Kishimoto is reportedly not nearly as involved as he used to be, but given the success of the show thus far, it would appear as though the franchise is in capable hands, to say the least. Time will tell if the words of Kishimoto were truly earnest, but at this point we have to say we like what we are seeing from Boruto Naruto Next Generations. Do you think Boruto Naruto Next Generations will be better than Naruto? Do you think it already is? Make sure to let us know why or why not in the comments. Letting you know what I think about this article in a YouTube video. Hopefully you see it. The conclusion is that the title of the article was clickbait because it says that Boruto is already better than Naruto. Most of these reasons argued that Boruto might surpass Naruto. Well, some, the ones such as, the filler argument, the humor argument, the Shina argument, I mean, I'm not giving that point to the author, but again, it's arguing some present moments, about some present moments of the Boruto anime, but still, this was made after 15 episodes, which is just ridiculous. Obviously, the intent behind this article is to attract readers because of the controversy of the article, and that's exactly what's happening now. I'm making a YouTube video, multiple thousand people are gonna see this, yeah, ridiculous. In conclusion, there are 3 valid points in my opinion: the humor point, the filler point, and the Sarada Sakura point. And even that argument wasn't placed, or I should say, it wasn't written properly because it makes it look like Sakura is a shit character, which isn't the case. But I agree that Sarada is a better character, but better female protagonist. And I'm gonna have the article in the description of this video. Let me know what you think about this article in the description of this video, in the comments, of this video. That was your boy Hokage. Twitter, Discord, Instagram, and second channel links are in the description of this video. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.